Don't lose your way. Your mind, we have to be as one.
Hey, what's going on, YouTube? Or Storm here, coming at you guys with another podcast series. Apologize for the delay due to, me being busy and other external factors, but I'm bringing you guys another episode of the podcast series. Today I have some new people. I have PixelReaper here, Evan is here as well, and then I believe Liam's channel is DaedricSheep, so say hello to everybody.
Hello.
So,
Oh shit, what up? Whoa.
Really, Evan? But anyway, today we're
You
gonna
just
cover.
made my audio peak.
But today we're gonna be covering we're gonna briefly go over the Yugioh dying thing, because I think that's the big topic in the community right now. So we're gonna briefly go over that. Then we're gonna go over the ban list and what we kind of want to see from that. So to start the podcast off, with the Yu-Gi-Oh dying. I definitely would say, because I started really playing Yu-Gi-Oh around 2014, and one thing I noticed was that after Duelist Alliance come out, there definitely was a big drop-off in terms of player base. I don't know if you guys experienced the same thing I did, but I noticed regional attendance went down for a pretty substantial, margin from what it was. I think Yu-Gi-Oh is in a great shape on the competitive scene for sure. If you just look at the Nationals attendance numbers, if you just look at I every time I go to locals, there's a pretty hefty number of people, but I don't think the game's not where it was a few years ago. But I do think it's kind of I think it's kind of in a better shape than it was anyway. What do you think, Pixel?
Well, I think people should stop whining like little bitches, to be honest. Because, every time a new set comes out, it's always there's always people saying, oh, this card's broken, I'm quitting, oh, blah, blah, blah. And that was quite prevalent when Duelist Alliance came out. I mean, it had Shadol's construct is pretty broken.
Free no construct.
Yeah,
Construct.
I have an ulti that I want to use. Free or Konami. We'll get to that.
Yeah. But you had that was the biggest set probably ever. You got, you had your Burning Abyss, you had your Satellanites, and you had your Shadows.
Yeah,
and they were all fairly cancerous in their own way.
And the whole because what that set did to the format, if you look at it, the whole concept of floating went from here to up to infinity. The whole
it essentially meant that if your deck didn't float, then your deck was shit.
And then the other thing that bothered me the most was that I always had this concept where if you solemn warning a monster, nothing happened. But Duelist Alliance completely changed that. It added monsters that float when they get warned. And that whole concept just blew my mind when it first read the cards. I'm like, wait, I can't warning this? And also get the fact that it blew my mind. But Evan, what do you think about this?
Yu-Gi-Oh dying?
Yeah.
For sure, there might have been a few attendance drops, but I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh's ever gonna die. It's a business, and Konami's in their best interest to keep the game alive. If only they would actually listen to us and let European YouTubers record things actually.
Yeah,
without,
they do. George was. I remember talking to was watching the stream last night. Glasgow was saying that they actually in Europe they're doing a much better job of listening to the player base. I don't know if George has experienced this, but
essentially our nationals, UK nationals, it was the first time ever since I think Lithium was saying that it was about 2012. So the first time ever since 2012 that you could actually go into a tournament and have at least some place to record, be it an actual match or be it deck profiles and things. And then when it came to Euros, they had an entire full section where YouTubers could go in and record. Obviously, it meant that they had to put certain links in their descriptions of videos and stuff, but that's kind of expected when it's technically sponsoring. In a way, you get sponsoring to just be able to record.
Yeah.
Now, here's a quick question. That's just in the EU. That's not a restriction in America. Who made that
Oh, God.
decision?
I'm not really sure. Like, well, I remember.
Well, like it was
Like,
out of the blue. A couple of weeks before nationals, we were told that that they would be giving essentially press passes to people who were YouTubers. I don't know whether it mattered if you were a prevalent YouTuber or not, but you know, when you were outside
You had to go out of your
nationals,
way.
you could see loads of people with cameras filming. I mean, you could see Lindio and Jamie the Kid 00 all recording, and then when they went inside, there was a special area lit up for people to record.
Yeah, I remember.
I want to say the same people who took down Dueling Network was the ones that issued it, because in NA we have different copyright laws than in the EU.
Yeah,
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah,
it's the
and
same group.
I wouldn't surprise me. I
Think of
mean,
that.
they literally. From what I did a little bit of like Google searching on that, just a little off topic, but I did a Google search on them, and they've sued 4Kids in the past. And all I know is that they have the licensing rights and they make Yu-Gi-Oh related merchandise. They own the rights to the images. That's it. So, you know, it's kind of, to me, it's like the whole concept of we don't want free advertising always been silly to me. But Daedric, what do you think about this? Because how the game, think the game's in a healthy state, or
I may not be the best person to talk to about this, but I'm going to, obviously, because it's the internet.
everyone has an opinion.
So I got into the
Opinions.
game. I got into the game 2 years ago when I found my university's trading card game club. And it was essentially just a Yu-Gi-Oh club because we met on Fridays. Anyone who's playing Magic on Fridays was at one of the stores. But I got into it then right as Shadows and BA and I think, what was the other deck? Cleese were starting to all hit their prime.
Shit, these.
And
That's a-
Infernoid!
Yeah.
Infernoids was actually the deck that I used to learn how to play against the meta. Love Infernoids to death, but once Reasoning got hit, I'm like, okay, you know what? It's playable,
Still a
but
good
not
deck, shut
at
up.
all. I'm not saying it's not a good deck. I'm saying the playstyle that I enjoyed was no longer possible. But anyway, I got involved in that TCG club, and eventually our president left, and I actually took up the mantle of running that club. I did well, and actually the club continued to grow ever since I, started. Ever since I became a part of it.
Tell
So
them all,
I haven't
no magic
seen
allowed.
these- I haven't seen these attendance drops. I haven't seen a drop in enthusiasm. I've just seen my locals. That being said, I have seen online reactions and I've seen real life reactions to meta play. I do not think that Monarchs, BAPK, and Cosmos are inherently unhealthy, but right now the meta is much more unhealthy than it was back when I started.
Yeah, for sure.
That's going to be fixed with the next ban list. I'm confident in that. And I don't think that the game in general is in an unhealthy state, because the more sets that get released means the more decks we have, the more possibilities we have, the more things that people have to play, and that's inherently healthy for the game.
Yeah, just look at the next month. I mean, I don't know. We have Metal Foes coming out, and that deck on its own is going to. I'm really interested to see like the volume of creativity that deck is going to create, and then
That's going to have 1.5 million variants.
Right, and I mean, you look at Cyber Angels are coming like to
Cyber Angels.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Can't wait for Spirals,
Yeah,
man. Can't wait for Spirals.
Cyber Angels. So we're getting Subterrors and Spirals, 2 new TCG archetypes that I
Oh
think,
no, we're also getting Trimid, third
And the-
TCG archetype.
yeah, as well. I mean,
An archetype consisting of 5 cards.
Yeah, but
But,
if you
yeah.
if you look at just I think on their own, Cyber Angels and all the Metal Foe variants, take everything else out of the equation. Those 2 decks on their own are going to diversify the format, and like people are gonna. I swear people like, especially with the Yang Zing variant I've been testing, people get so salty because like I OTK'd with like the greatest of ease, and I think this is how this time of year actually is. The format gets stale this time of year. It always does. It was last year. It was the year before. I don't know about you guys. 2 years ago, I was tired of playing against Hat.
And every time this period comes around, every format, you get this exact same question: is Yu-Gi-Oh dying?
Right.
It's a nonsense question. It is an absolutely nonsense question.
Yeah, like I did a video on it. on the
It's just
top.
because people are like, sorry.
No, I did a video on the topic. It's called it like the dog days of Yu-Gi-Oh, and it literally was just making the point that that's how this kind of time of year is. Correct? That's like basically what I was
Everyone's
saying.
getting prepped for school to come back around.
Right?
Yeah. Oh God.
It's the period where practically everybody is doing nothing, meaning that their Yugi, because it's also the end of competitive season, like the competitive season is sort of transferring over. People don't have any events to go to, people have nothing, so they're just like sitting in like at locals playing against the same decks because people are waiting for the ban list, so they're not actually buying into anything. So then everybody starts complaining, oh, the game's dying, oh, it's getting so boring, I hate this deck, I hate that deck, etc., etc. And when the new sort of ban list and competitive season comes around, everybody's
that
like
for
got
another
all
5
of
months.
this spur of
Yeah.
life. And
Yeah, it's
then-
not the fact that Yu-Gi-Oh's dying. It's just the fact that the format's gone stale. Like, I hate grinding through every match when I play PK Fire against Monarchs because I have to grind against them.
Yeah, I hate that's the same.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
that's also just how PK Fire plays.
yeah, that's me. That's
Yeah.
me and magicians too. Like I'm my Pepe magician variant. Like I unless if I go first and I manage to get like I don't play anything that searches Karen, so because the way the deck is built, can't really don't have the room. But like if most of the time if I don't open good against them, they typically can just set up a big board and just clear it with the greatest of ease. So I mean, and that's like a close to top tier deck. Imagine if I was playing something like I don't know, name random rogue deck like Black Wings, I'd probably be in a lot more trouble.
The reason why I stopped playing Pendulums was because every game too, I would have anti-spell flipped up on me, and I got really sick of that. Because like it was just, it wasn't
Nobody
me
at my
interacting.
locals plays anti-spell.
I'm thankful people at
Let me
mine
come to your locals.
I'm thankful people at mine stopped siding anti-spell fragrance. Thank God. That's why
It wasn't like me interacting with the players. It was just me trying to play around the anti-spell, and it just got really boring. Really.
Yeah, there's a reason. Anti-spell is the reason why I put the Dark Engine in the Magician deck for the first place, because I was tired of seeing spell fragrance. So I'm like, well, if I have Armageddon Knight, I can get over it,
Yeah, the Dark Engine is so boring though.
It's so fun. Like, what was
Yeah,
that?
it breaks sometimes, and that's what really gets me off. It's like, oh, I have Dragon and Zephyros in my hand. I guess they're kind of dead.
That happened to me. Like a match I lost to Mermails. Like I opened Treacherous, like Dragon, and like all these other I just bricked really bad. And that was like the one time I bricked all day. But anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move into the next.
Hold on. I have a really funny story about me bricking with the Dark Engine in my Pepe build. So
Go
I
ahead.
opened like double Zephyros. One Zephyros, 2 Armanite, and 1 Dragon with Skyars.
Jesus.
So I normal summon the Shadal Dragon and put up Skyars, and he had 1 back. So I popped Skyars. I popped Dragon with Skyars and got the popping effect.
God.
And then I top decked Infusion, and then I did that again.
Oh my God!
What
But,
is
like,
this life?
The worst. I think the first time I went to locals and I beat the Mermail player, like I think he was playing Brilliant Fusion, so he's like, he must have drawn Garnet. He's like, oh, what is this? I'm looking at my hand. I draw my hand. It's like Pendulum Call, 2 dragon. It's like 2 Odd Eyes Unicorn, a Dragon Pit, and Zephyros. Was like shuffling my hand. I'm like, what is this? And then when I use Pendulum Call, it's like, he's like, you open Pendulum Call. Why are you complaining? But anyway.
Yeah, Pendulum Call's broke.
Pendulum Call is pretty busted.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I expect that card eventually to go to 1. Even and I know it will. So that's why I'm getting other decks, because I know that
It's gonna get a replacement though.
Yeah,
It's gonna get its own replacement.
Yeah, they're getting Amazing Pendulum in the set, Invasion of Venom, anyways, and it's good. But like, imagine, I just wish if I had that card with Wavering Eyes.
I feel like anti-spell should go to 1 because we're getting like, what is it, Floodgate Trap Hole, and it stops the mechanics that Konami is purposely trying to promote.
Yeah, like I mean, personally, I'll be minute Floodgate. I get hold of Floodgate Trap Hole. I'll be taking out Treacherous and putting that in because it's better.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but anyway, moving on to the ban list topic, moving from, because obviously I think we all agree Yu-Gi-Oh isn't dying. It's just people are being salty and the format's gotten stale.
Yu-Gi-Oh's flourishing.
Yeah, and the ban list is obvious. Now we all could agree here that the Konami not giving us a ban list on a reasonable amount of time is kind of silly. I mean,
I think it's more the lack of communication.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like, it doesn't matter when it comes, as long as we're getting communication, that would be much, much better.
like
Like,
I wouldn't have.
If-
I
if-
don't think we need an exact date. Just give us like a general idea. Okay, you're going to be getting it
Yeah.
around this time. I mean, and like I noticed something last year. The people like no one's really complaining this year about the ban list not coming yet. I remember
it's
last
because
year.
we had a ban list by now.
At least give us a season, Konami.
Yeah,
At least give us.
right. But I think this ban list. I think most people are awaiting it because we've had basically a 2 to 4 deck format, and some of these decks have been hanging around for way too long. But first thing I want to get
That's
back.
right.
Yeah, like BA definitely. But first, I want to get to some of the more
You know what
generic.
pisses me off though? This may
Yeah.
just be because I'm like a competitive player, but how Pepe only had a 1 weekend shelf life.
Yeah, that.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
Really killed me. Because
That-
like
Yeah.
I splurged for that deck, and then I'm like, oh, it got
The
hit.
same thing happened
I
to me
can't
with.
play at a large event anymore. This
Same
fucking
thing
sucks.
happened with magicians. Like I hadn't dropped as much as I have currently on the deck, but I had dropped a pretty good hefty amount of money to get it ready for Houston, and then face off. I knew face off was gonna get hit, so I was ready for that. But I didn't expect Wisdom Eye to go to 1. But same thing
That
happened to
didn't
me.
really kill the deck though. That wasn't like crippling to the deck as much as Wavering Eyes was.
Yeah, it just means I can't play Twin Twister anymore. But anyway.
Oh yeah. Speaking of U cards, imagine magical something in full power Pepe with wavering eyes.
I got it.
Scale, wavering, reset, wavering.
I need to remake that. Like, I need to make that. Like, I've had a video series in mind for that. But anyway, so for the ban list, I think first thing I want to talk about is these generic cards, meaning like the elephant in the room. We have the card of demise. We have brilliant fusion. I feel like these are two of the cards that people are most kind of like salty about. But first, we'll get the card of demise. Card of demise is a card where I felt like Konami really, really, really tried to make it like give it enough restrictions, but in the end, like on the TCG side of the Yu-Gi-Oh player base, it's not like the OCG where they are a little bit more casual than we are, in some ways, and a little bit more creative. Like Yu-Gi-Oh players will find any way they can to draw cards, and I feel like with Card of Demise, the biggest problem is we don't have Feather Duster or Heavy Storm, so like it's not like we have a massive form of removal. And I think don't get me wrong, I love Alinthio. Like I love how like he does casual decks, but the fact that he was able to go to a regional and go to a Nats and top with counter fairies is
64, yeah.
that's crazy. Like I personally like I feel like the Card of Demise is like I feel like Konami like they knew what they were doing, they won it, but at the same time I feel like they made a mistake, and like they're going to be a lot more careful in the future, especially after if Cupidity ever gets hit, they're going to be a lot more careful for sure.
Konami should have known if they give any players a chance to +3, those players will abuse that +3.
Exactly, and
well, think about the decks that it's a problem in though. What are the biggest decks that Card of Demise is an actual problem in?
Klee and Counter Fairies.
Yeah,
Klee, Counter Fairies,
Lee, Cosmo,
Cosmos.
Counter Fairy.
Oh yeah, Yosenju and Gravekeepers.
Yeah,
Yosenju, Gravekeepers,
only
anything else
only
that's
two of the
anti-meta.
decks right now that it's a problem in
and
are
Cosmo.
even going to be kind of meta.
You said that, man.
but I feel like with Demise, like I don't think it needs to be straight up banned. I feel like if it went to 1,
Semi-limit.
maybe they should try it
Limit
out at 2. Maybe put it down to 1. But like I feel like I don't think it needs to be. It's sort of like
thing is-
Ignister.
Yeah,
feel like-
if
It's not going to get hit though because it just came out.
Yeah, but when it does get hit, I expect it to go to. It's not a ban-worthy card, but it certainly doesn't belong at 3.
You'd be surprised when it's at 2, because I play a trap monster deck that uses it. You'd be surprised when it's at 2, you hardly ever see it at all.
No more Magistones, please. No,
Yeah.
no
And
more.
then Brilliant Fusion is something a lot of players have been talking about. Like some players think Seraph Knight should. I mean, I don't think it's a problem personally, but like people debate constantly whether it's Seraph Knight should go, whether Brilliant Fusion should go. I mean,
I think Garnet should go. Just for the lols.
Yeah, but
Just for the lols.
But my thing with Brilliant Fusion is I actually did some research. I was like, okay, what else could you summon besides Seraph Knight? And I was genuinely curious. And I've seen some people like use it in decks like Magnet Warriors to summon Zeronica. That opens up a lot of stupid combos.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize like you can literally the volume of decks you can play Brilliant Fusion is really surprising. Like you can play it in Treat Toad Turbo to dump like your Ronin Toad in to get your engine going. You You can play it in volcanics to dump volcanic shells to the grave to get your engine going.
And at that point, it's just a foolish burial if it does more.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's like it's like a more generic Shadal fusion that occasionally bricks you, and I mean that. And honestly, I don't think it would be a problem if Seraph Knight was banned. But my thing is like the card is so damn generic. Like Seraph Knight, banning Seraph Knight helps to fix the problem, but you have to realize it's also it's insane. It's like the volume of deck thinning in one card is a little bit too much. So, in my opinion, I would probably ban Brilliant Fusion if I had to pick between the two. What do you guys think?
I'd say
would
Brilliant
love
Fusion to 1 because that way Gem Knights could still play it, but then it wouldn't be usable as an engine anymore. It would just be like, oh, Gem Knights open with this. I got this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or
That's true.
Yeah, but
Even
Gem
at
Knights
two-
can't really
even
do
at two,
much without it.
Even without 2, even at 2, like the it will still be kind of bricky. Like you have 2, but you're more likely to see like the card that you're teching in to dump with it. Like
Your Lazuli
So-
or your Garnet or whatever else you might
Yeah.
be playing.
so if you have it at 3, you're almost always going to see it. But if you have it at like 2, it seems that the number 2 is always like that magic number for like broken engines. Like you put something down to 2, and then it's like
But Konami
Oh,
never
shit.
utilizes it.
I know that's the
Yeah.
thing. Like they either like it's the same thing. Like I remember I was talking like Gynor a while back. Like I was talking to him about Cyframe Lord Omega because he went to locals and he was salty because he got hand looped by Triple Omega and he said,
Oh, baby.
Oh yeah.
and he said,
No, it's Triple Omega, Double Trish.
yeah, like he got hand looped. He said, and I told him, they're not if they were gonna hit Omega, they would ban it. They would not limit it. It's the same thing with Evolve All
Oh,
Chain.
yeah, definitely.
That's what I said. So I explained it to him. And I was like, I kind of like my Omega, and I'd like to keep it.
Yeah, Omega's just too good to, like, stay at 1.
Yeah, like,
Because 1 is
Well,
recyclable.
because you only ever play one.
yeah,
They're never gonna limit an extra deck card.
exactly. But like,
play 2.
yeah, you play 2, and I mean, you can play like in the hand, and then like the Synchro Fusionist hand loop deck, you usually play 3, but that's like neither here or there. Most of the time, like Konami doesn't. That deck's so off the radar that like I don't think Konami ever does anything. It's not like Monarch FT, or it's like not like Monarch FTK where it was topping of big major YCSs. So other than those are kind of like the more generic cards I could see getting hit, but as far as what else, as far as the top 4 decks, personally, I do not see Cosmos getting a lot of hits for the same reason Burning Abyss did get a lot of hits last year. What do
I
you
have
guys
a feeling
think?
that they will get hits to important things. Just
Yeah.
things that are barely important that it might take a little bit of a toll.
Stormforce to 1. Stormforce to 1.
Yeah, I'm tired of.
Please.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, but with Cosmos, like I feel like the only thing that if the Dark Destroyers, obviously, it's having it at multiples is the problem. I think like it's the card does get there's so many just stupid things the card enables you to basically get any like tin cans from your deck or any other monster you need by blowing itself
Having it
up.
at 1 is loopable, but it's a really hard loop to do because you have to like play perfectly. Like if you send in with Tin Can, you need to have Call, and if you have it banished, you need to have Cosmotown. So
Yeah.
1 would be a really good number for DD.
Yeah, and I don't think Cosmotowns. I think with Dark Destroyers, honestly, all the Cosmos need like I don't even. If you talked to me a few months ago, I would have said Italy as well, but I don't think Italy isn't as much of a problem as it was because if you think about it, like Farm Girl's not even seeing a lot of play. Like how often do you get Italy'd into Farm Girl anymore?
Actually, a lot.
Never.
But
Not-
it
not
depends
as
if you're
much-
playing up against DevBot.
Yeah, but most what I'm saying is like that was the main problem was getting Italy'd into Farm Girl during the battle phase. But
Yeah.
now, like I remember several times I've played against Cosmos at locals. I've never seen them. I don't think I've hardly ever seen them using Italy on me. I don't even think it needs to go to 1. It probably will, but I don't think it needs to. But if you just
I'd say Tin Can to 2, Cosmotown to 2, and Dark Destroyer to 1.
yeah, that would be fine. And of course, and then Monarchs. Like that's probably
I feel
everyone.
like Dark Destroyer to 1 would be fair to Cosmos. That's a pretty
It
key
would
card
be
that
fair.
doesn't do too much.
With the type of hits that we got to Pepe, it would be fair.
Yeah.
But like
No,
Also, I'm really salty
That's
that
fine.
I got there in week 1.
yeah, right. But
I don't feel like it's one of those cards that does too much on its own. It's the thing you set up to rather than using to set up. Konami has a history of, at least I could be wrong here. It seems like they're more likely to hit cards that do too much on their own to set up for other things.
yeah, like
And those are the important things to hit at.
Brilliant
And
Fusion.
honestly, Brilliant Fusion doesn't even fall into that category. Neither does Card of Demise.
yeah. But as far as moving on to Monarchs, like I think the biggest thing with Monarchs is pantheism. Is just the biggest thing is that bothers me so much
Yeah.
about the deck is that the fact that first off the Monarch draw engine is almost too splashable. That's all the problem. But like the fact that it's designed to not play an extra deck and they play an extra deck, it kind of like shows me that the deck is it bricks and people talk about that. But pantheism probably is definitely the problem card because.
Any like brick hand with monarchs will just be fixed if you have a pantheism.
Right, yeah.
Or
That's essentially like it's like if you have a brick hand, just hope that you can search out pantheism and you're fine. Like
That being said, pantheism should go to 2, but there's a really good reason for that because tenacity is the real problem. Tenacity lets you search everything as long as you have one big guy in hand. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of I don't think domain is when I first I was kind of just from being salty losing to the deck at Houston. I ended up, but I wanted domain hit. But then I watched Drew's video and he made a good point. Like monarchs are supposed to like rule stuff, you know. And he said that domain is like the only thing that protects the castle, so to speak. Pardon the pun, but that was his point.
with domain, it's gotten to the point where we have so many outs to the domain lock that it doesn't matter. Like we have kaijus, we have double dark hole, we have Raigeki, we have
Twin Twister.
monster removal in cards.
I think.
So
I mean, with magicians, I have at least like 5. I can count them off the top of my head. 5 main decked outs because I have the MSTs, the Dragon Pits, and that's actually 6. And I also have the Dragon in the main deck. So like, I don't lose to domain. And a lot of
think about another topic, another upcoming deck that has plenty of outs to domain, Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
Blue Eyes has plenty of outs to domain. They play 2 Twin Twisters. They've got monster removal in their monsters. They can play Raigeki, Dark Hole.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've got that banishing.
and Cyber Angels do, because Dakini has a forced center graveyard effect. It's not even destroy, it's just your opponent sends one monster to the graveyard
But
that you
Is that
choose.
proc Cosmotown?
It sends to grave.
It just sends to
doesn't-
grave. Yeah, it's like
It sends to grave, it doesn't
Okay.
destroy.
so it's like Dark End Dragon. It doesn't target, and they get to choose the monster. So
Yeah.
like, but let's face it, how much do you really use your Cyber H deck and Cyber Angels? Like
When I have the rank 6 plays, that's
yeah,
it.
that's it. When you could go into M7.
When you have 2 level 4s on
Wow.
field and no ritual spell in hand.
That's the only real weakness of that deck is you have to play so many ritual spells that it can brick you really worse than Monarch sometimes.
Actually, I've been testing recently and I haven't bricked like at all.
Yeah.
Barely.
I don't brick that much, but anyway. So as far as Monarchs, what I would do with them is that the biggest problem is their draw power and their recyclability. So like, but like personally, I just think that I feel like Stormforth is a problem because like you have to think about it. Stormforth is one of the best generic removal cards in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, like bar none.
Yeah.
And that was
Yeah.
and it's been out since Duelist Alliance. And when I read the card and realized what it did, I said that is the best removal card in Yu-Gi-Oh. And I think that's held true today because if you the whole Aether into Stormforth play where they can disrupt you in the middle of your combos. And honestly,
definitely.
I would probably limit like Pantheism to Stormforth personally, but like honestly, I think the deck would be a lot less consistent without the multiple copies of Pantheism, to be honest.
Yeah. Honestly, Stormforthing into Erebus is like the best removal.
Yeah.
Because you take 2 cards off the field and then you get your engine going, and it's kind of like, oh, shit.
Right. And then on top
Also
of
being
that,
able to Stormforth on the opponent's turn.
and on top of that, I mean,
God, yeah, that's the problem.
and on top of that,
Well,
you
that's
know,
not the problem, but
and then Monarchs that Gofu is also coming out in the next set, so Monarch like the Zolkin variant's only going to get better. I think it's going to get even. Honestly, I think that deck's just going to have more tops the next format, just because of that on its own.
Definitely.
And
But so long as the rest of the meta can stay on par with that, I don't think it's too bad. But I'm just worried that it can't, because you guys were talking about how you can just top deck Pantheism to get the engine going.
Yeah.
That's not the only card you can top deck. You can top deck Prime, because what if you have just one
Tenacity.
Pantheism?
Or you can top deck the big
deck.
monarch when you open with only vassals.
Exactly. So long as you have so many ways to get your engine going in Monarchs, and I think that's more of a problem than just being able to +2.
mm-hmm.
As long as you hurt their consistency, I'm fine. I don't care how they hurt it, as long as it's a major hurt to their consistency.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm fine.
And if you look
I'd
at
rather see PK Fire get hit.
oh yeah, like that's like the
They're
big,
going to have some form of hit.
and that's
They have to.
and that's the big elephant in the room to me, is that deck has been out for 2 years and it's still top tier shit. Now part of it is two reasons: one, Beatrice, and two, the Phantom Knight engine.
Also,
Those two
everything
cards-
floats. Everything floats.
Jesus.
I know it's one of the most like no deck, unless you have Dweller or Meteor Burst out, can feasibly fight through all those floaters. Like unless you're just and the other thing is like between Beatrice and Dante, they have such big defenses, so a lot of there are some monsters like Stardust Charge Warrior that can power through floaters.
Fiendish Chain.
But the thing is that they have a searchable Fiendish Chain, and then you also have to add in the fact they're getting that rank up card, the set after Dark Illusion.
That can turn
Oh,
anything into Ophion.
Exactly, like you can turn a Break Sword into Ophion, so they can have Beatrice, like Ophion or Requiem, which is the new like basically like it's like Crystal.
Dark Rebellion Ecstasy.
Yeah, it's like an
Dark
evolved.
Rebellion.
It's kind of like it has an effect very similar to Crystal Wing. Like imagine like that Beatrice and Ophion. Like what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So like
GG.
in some form or fashion, they know that Konami doesn't like they know what they're doing. That it's more than likely that that Dante will probably be placed on the limited list. I've talked to people who say Beatrice might also be limited, or even
It's
possibly.
going to be Dante. It kind of has to be Dante.
But Dante is the main problem.
Yeah, because you only ever play one or two Beatrice anyway. So
Yeah,
Two Beatrice.
hitting it won't do anything.
yeah.
If you're playing 3, then you've probably got a screw loose, to be honest. Like,
yeah, like
something to be tightened up in your head.
yeah, and the main thing, the fact is, like the deck's been how often I don't know. I've never really looked at the Nats numbers for like just top decks, at least the U.S. Nationals. But how often have we seen a deck top back-to-back Nationals? Like,
I thought Domain Monarchs won Nationals.
they didn't win Nationals. But like, how often have we seen a deck like be top tier and then nearly top a whole nother Nationals the next year? Is what I'm saying. Like the deck won Nationals last year.
The consistency of how many times it tops
Is
like
insane.
Someone give me that
And this
Kai
is
Pepe
only
deck.
if the deck isn't a problem, but the problem is that it's an inherently unhealthy play style. Dante was so poorly designed in the first place.
Yeah, it's a lazily
yeah.
designed archetype. If you think like that's what I
No. I wouldn't say
It wasn't lazily designed. It just had a lazily designed boss monster that would like fix all your problems that you would have ever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Because
Okay,
being
so-
light, Nick like basically just gets rid of Shadow Imprisoning.
Does anyone here play BAPK? Or Burning
I
Abyss?
play PK Fire, yeah.
What is the biggest problem that you have when you play the deck?
Holy crap. Monarchs. Like just grinding
No.
through-
Just in your own deck.
Really there's really like no problem other than like having to like have awkward hands where I open one BA and just all Phantom Knights that aren't Silent Boots. Like those are like the only awkward hands I have. And I'm just like, oh, fuck, I brick.
But like,
Okay.
but the thing is with like, I feel like if limiting Dante would fix a lot of the problems. Like, I don't think cards like Terror Top are really a problem, to be honest. Terror
God,
Top.
if they hit speedruns, I'm gonna die.
Yeah, I'll be set. Like on it, like
Yeah.
talking about just the last couple topics before we end the podcast. I want to talk about two more cards. Speedroid, Terror Top, and Magic Spectre Unicorn Kieran.
Oh god.
Kieran, I could realistically see getting hit. I just don't want it to happen.
I mean,
I don't see why they would ban Kieran. Loads of people are like calling for Kieran to be banned, but I don't see why
No,
they
that's overkill. It doesn't
people
do
talking
that.
about HB
much,
banned
but
or
it's a good stutter.
hate to
Hey
put it-
guys, at least Kieran so hard once for sure, right? Thank God.
Yeah, but like with I thought it, but like I remember like we'll go to Kieran first because this is the card I've been like advocating for it not to get hit, but I kind of know it will. Like with Kieran, I feel like I remember I watched one of Jonathan House of Champions, and like Jonathan Moore, he's actually topped it. He hasn't topped in a long time, but he's like a well-known like competitive player on the competitive scene. And I mentioned Kieran and how I didn't think it needed to be limited. He said the thing with Kieran is that it's a level 6, it's a hard tribute, and like it's an amazing card. But his point in the video was that the problem with the pendulum mechanic is the searching. But you kind of have to have searching in the mechanic to make it consistent. You know what I mean? So like his
If
point
people
was
played Mistake, it wouldn't be a problem.
yeah, exactly. And like the other thing is that he made the point is that it's really difficult in especially Draco Pals to consistently keep up that high scale. It's like
Oh yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
I honestly hate the Draco engine now.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I've been playing Magician Odd Eye since it came out. I never found a viable reason to play Dracos.
I played Drake. I mean, at the Houston build, my CS Houston build, I had the Dracos, but it was a very like small engine. It was just the one luster, the 2 vectors, and the 1 master. And the main reasoning was that, well, I knew I was either going to be playing a ton of Monarchs or a ton of mirror matches all day. So my theory was, and it turned out true. One of my matches I won against Pepe, I opened a vector, so that was like the theory behind it. So like he just he just sat there and stared at it. I'd forgotten. Yeah. I forgot Vector was in the pendulum zone. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Vector and Scale is like just completely game, especially when you have Dinosaur on board and you're just like, oh, eat shit, loser.
The build was weird because I didn't have. I know I'm bad. I didn't have Dinosaur in this particular version just because.
Scrub.
I know it was like
Scrub.
It was a scrub build.
Get out.
But I did. Well, the thing was though, like I just remember how often because I think he had like the whole draw engine, but he couldn't activate them. So I just like I felt bad for the guy. But like I'm back to Kieran. I feel like I said, like the main reason I don't think it's a problem is that it is searchable, but at the same time you have to play a lot of like cards that don't belong in your deck that are only designed to search one card. Like cards like Bambuku, like it doesn't do a lot for you other than search Kieran. Think about it.
And then you have to play a rank 3 to make it worth pendulum summoning multiple of them.
Right, and like it's like and don't get me wrong, I love Magical Abductor, but you have to play like a very, very specific build with that card. Like you have to play the Summoner's Arts, the Ignite Reloads, Skyrus, etc. You have to play that volume of spells to justify playing it. So like,
well, actually, I've seen plenty of people, and particularly in recent topping decks, someone won, or I think it was they won Orlando first with Magicians. They played 3 Magical Abductor, and I think the only major spell cards that they played were like the Terraforming the Sky Iris, and Magical Abductor is worth it, but I don't think it needs the requirements you think it does.
Maybe. But like my basic point is that with Kieran is that like you have to play. My point is you have to play cards that don't necessarily fit in your deck if you want to consistently have it out. And I don't really think it's that much of a problem when a lot of the pendulum decks can't really get to it easily. You know, at least that's the way I look at it. As far as Terror Top, I mean, I'm biased. I've been playing, I play Speedroids all the time on my stream, and the deck's really, it's not top tier shit by any stretch of the imagination.
I played Speedroid BA as a sort of a rebel against playing DK Fire, and as much as it was good, I still don't think it's the same kind of thing as the whole theory with
Brilliant Fusion.
Brilliant Fusion, except for the fact that you don't have to have an extra deck card.
Yeah, and
really.
And the same thing I remember I was watching Nationals and like the guy, he had to like do all this. He opened that. It's like the same thing with that. If you only play one Garnet, that whole tournament you're gonna break and open that one Takaton board at least 3 or 4 matches.
Yeah.
And
the only way that you can play around that is by having, the Triad dice, I think.
Yeah.
And
or Dendyker Duke.
Or he ended up making a Leviair and to get it out of his hand. But like that's the thing is that like You do. That's the thing. I don't feel like Terratop. I feel like Terratop's like just another one of those like cards that ends up like a top tier deck ends up using it. But
If they deal with the actual problems inherent to Burning Abyss right now, then Terratop will not be a problem for Burning Abyss, and that's the only reason
Yeah.
that people are talking about it at all.
yeah,
Yeah.
Except for
It's because Terratop's
like
just being
some
used
Monarch
as a
decks
tour
play it,
guide.
but just
Yeah.
because it's tribute fodder.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's tribute fodder, and it's like, and I mean, don't get me wrong, like in Speedroids, it's nuts if you open Takatom and Terratop, like you're gonna end up, your board's typically gonna end up with like Crystal Wing plus Stardust first turn, which isn't the most impressive board, but most decks can't easily play around that type of board.
Are we talking about
Yeah.
actual Speedroids or Speedroid
Yeah,
BA?
actual Speedroids, like
Oh, well,
if you open, like I'm saying, but like plus you have to keep in mind that with Yugo's probably got a few more duels lined up in the anime, so if he has more new cards, limiting Terratop will not allow them, will limit the number of new cards they can create. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't
eh,
see.
I mean, there's always
It's
been
definitely valid.
a separation between the actual game and the anime. I don't really agree with that
Yeah,
premise.
I mean, but that the premise is that, but like, I mean, personally, I love Arc 5. It's one of the better. I've had more fun watching it than any of the Yu-Gi-Oh animes, to be honest. But
To be honest, I find it second best to 5Ds.
I do too. Like, I think it's
Nothing
you
can be GX.
know, a lot of people like GX.
Get out!
Get out. But anyway, guys, we've come to the end of our podcast series today. Let me know down in the comment section down below what you guys think of the podcast. And if you'd like to see future episodes, let me know. Anyway, guys, as always, thank you guys for watching.
Free money for shadows.
Yeah, free money.